Hey guys, in this video we're going to talk about how to safely bring in an element. It's not always the case that one element coming in means the other has to leave. Often you want elements to play simultaneously, particularly if one of the elements isn't as dense, such as a vocal. Because acapellas used to be so easy to get your hands on, a standard mashup usually consisted of a main track with an acapella over it. When making a mashup like this, you would generally want to make sure that you bring in the acapella in a way that makes sense, and to keep it going over the other track without causing any problems, such as key, rhythm, or energy clashes. There are a few ways you can bring in an element. The first and most obvious way is to just bring it in cold. Other times you'll need to use tricks like reverse reverbs to help familiarize the listener with the tonality of the element before it actually drops in. More on how to do this later. Other times you can bring in an element gradually with the use of either volume fading, filtering, or a mixture of both. It's all about balancing excitement and space. Often you want an element to creep up so that it takes a little while for the listener to realize what they're listening to. This is great for surprising your audience and one of the great things about mashups. If we want to bring in an element and keep it fairly obscure to begin with, a low-pass filter is a great way to transition it in. Let's have a look at this now. Because we're intentionally obscuring the lyrical content, I'm simply going to make a one-bar loop here of the same phrase. Then, as the phrase keeps repeating, it'll come up out of the mud, up in filter to where it is intelligible. Then I'll allow the vocal to continue playing in full. Notice how you can barely hear it for the first couple of bars. Instead, the listener gradually becomes aware that they're hearing a vocal. How you decide to bring your element in depends on your audience, the type of music you're working over, and the other changes that are happening around it. As a general rule, you want to try and avoid two important moments happening at the same time. For example, in a major change in the music, such as the beginning of the drop, you don't want to bring in a vocal at the same time. Instead, it's better to leave it either 4 or 8 bars. This gives the audience a chance to get used to the change in the music first. Remember, half the time the audience has never heard this drop in before, so give them a chance to experience it before you put a vocal over the top. To take an element out, once you're finished with it, you can use the same types of transitions, only in reverse. If you let an element drop out cold, just make sure that the audience won't feel let down as the element comes to an end. Time it while other moments are ending, such as when the track is dropping into the outro. Though not always, low-pass filtering an element as you get rid of it is not often a great idea. Because it sounds like it's going from high to low, it gives the impression of moving downwards in energy, which is not what the audience likes. Instead, it's better to use the high-pass filtering technique we've talked about in previous videos. When transitioning from one track to another, rather than leaving them both playing at the same time, high-pass filtering is so useful that we'll actually look at it in depth in the next video. Thanks for watching.